Mr. Loudermilk is recognized for 5 minutes.
Hit the wrong button. All right. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you to each of our panelists for being here today. Chairwoman McCormick, last year in 2002, the EAC received $75 million in election security grants. In 2024, the EAC has requested $300 million in election security grants. Now, my calculation, that's about a 300% increase. Now, I know the entire nation has been affected by the out-of-control Bidenflation that we have right now, but I don't even think that's at 300%. That leaves us to question, you know, what are these grants going for, and can you explain such a massive increase?
Thank you for the question, Congressman Loudermilk. The EAC itself is not requesting that money for our operations. We constantly hear from states and localities of the need for additional funding. And part of that is they are in the process of purchasing new and updated voting equipment. A lot of the equipment that's out there has been certified to standards that were passed in 2007. So we need to update election equipment across the country. Additionally, we need to provide cybersecurity measures on all of the machines and all of our systems to make sure that we are fighting against any kind of intrusion on our election systems. It is a question of national security, and that is why there has been an increase in the request. We are approaching the 2024 elections. We have heard from our partners at CISA and other agencies that they expect a ramp up in attacks on our systems, and election officials need to defend those election systems in advance of the 2024 elections.
So in summary, this is election integrity?
A lot of it is election integrity and security.
Okay, security being securing ballots, securing individuals?
Securing the voting systems, securing the ballots, physical security, and cybersecurity.
Okay. How are you going to ensure that the grants are distributed and used properly?
Well, there is a distribution formula that we have to follow. So we make sure that our grants team follows all the federal rules on grant making and requires all the federal financial reports and progress reports, which are required usually semi-annual. The last tranche of money required them to be filed quarterly. And we follow up with the states on any issues that they have in using the grants appropriately. We also then make sure that the Inspector General is aware of all of the ways that the states are utilizing that money, and she does the audits for the EAC.
Okay. Hypothetically, if there was a suspicion that grants were not used properly, what measures do you take to investigate that?
Well, the Inspector General is the person who investigates whether funds were used appropriately or not. And then it can mean that money can be repaid into the federal treasury if it is found to be used inappropriately.
Okay, thank you. On December 12th, 2022, the EAC Inspectors General put out a Management Advisory 23-01 over concerns that the Help America Vote Act does not define voter registration, voter education, or get out the vote. Yet HAVA funds cannot be used for these purposes. Are you aware of jurisdiction using HAVA funds to engage in these efforts in violation of HAVA?
We monitor the use of the the HAVA funds, and we have not found that to be the case. We are constantly making sure that the funds are used for allowable purposes only. Okay,
thank you. I yield my remaining time to the chairman.
Thank you very much. I just want to go back to a point my colleague made regarding the grant to California. I just think it's worth taking 10 seconds to clean up. I think it is technically true that the Inspector General came back and noted that it wasn't for a technical get out the vote, but the challenge is the OIG issued the alert to the U.S. Elections Assistance Commission to identify risks because of the following terms: voter registration, voter education, and get out the vote are not defined in HAVA, and EAC has not adopted its own formal definition. And so if we walk away with anything, it's, man, we got some cleanup work to do to make sure that we're not allowing federal funds to go to Team Biden to do get out, what I would call, and I think most Americans would call, get out the vote efforts. And so I just think that's an important piece. Cognizant of the time, I'll now recognize Mr. Murphy, Dr. Murphy, for 5 minutes.